You know, we did something great today. There's nothing more noble and free than the heart of a horse.
Oh look, Jerry's going to whine all night.
If you ever have an affair with that guy, I will come to the hotel room and blow my brains out all over your naked bodies.
He deserves a bed. Whoa, that was like way more cringy than last time. Hi, I'm Kitty Monk. I'm here to talk to you about Rick and Morty, or more specifically, Jerry Smith. I'm pretty sure that Weird Al song was written about him. Well, chew on a lemon-free lemon bar because Rick and Morty Season 6 is here. And so far so good. Since my Rick and Morty videos have been doing so well, massive TY guys, I'll be covering the show all throughout Season 6, though it will stick to my every other week rule. Hopefully it won't be like the Owl House where one of my videos was outdated less than a day later. In the world of cartoons, there's always that one character who exists solely to be tortured. They go by many names. Butt Monkey, Megward the Wizard, Chew Toy, Butters, Scream. Rick and Morty is no exception. Now normally, you tend to feel bad for these types of people. Their only real crime is being born. How dare their fathers have such strong swimmers? And how dare their mothers not get fitted for diaphragms? Jerry, well, Mr. Smith, the Tootsie Roll Company has been begging for you to apply. Why? You suck. I might have a controversial opinion, but let me make one thing very clear. Jerry does not deserve the sympathy train he gets most of the time. He's not better than Beth. He's just as bad, albeit in the other extreme. Whereas Beth doesn't give a flying fig and hides it behind a cloud of smugness, Jerry weaponizes his bad luck. You don't understand what I'm talking about? You think Kitty is just doing this for views? You don't agree with me? Do you even know who you're dealing with? Well, let's discuss. Just to get this out of the way, as a sort of disclaimer, I might have a separate video planned about the good things he's done, and I do have a similar video planned for Beth. But for one, Jerry is much easier to talk about, and there seems to be a Space Beth episode coming up, so he goes first. Jerry is a main character in the world of Rick and Morty. He's Morty's father, and most obviously, the genetic template for his female clone, Summer. What I didn't realize until rewatches was Rick and Morty has something in common with the Owl House. Their pilots are vastly different from the rest of the show, especially in the ways the characters sound or act. Like, just take a look at Rick.
It's not a place for smart people, Jerry. I know that's not a popular opinion. That's my 2 cents on the issue.
But I did find Rick and Morty slightly better, since it did not have a preachy moral that made no sense, and it gave a better idea about what the show would be about. In the episode, Jerry is concerned that Rick, who recently re-entered their lives, is ruining Morty.
With all due respect, Rick, what am I talking about? What respect is due? How is my son supposed to pass his classes if you keep dragging him off for high-concept sci-fi rigmarole?
Now, I hate to say it, but in this instance, Jerry's got a point. Rick is dragging Morty off at all hours of the night and abducting him from school when he goes on drunken binges. Morty can't sleep or get any schoolwork done, so it's much harder for him to pass classes.
Are you getting sick?
I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. Maybe my dreams were just too loud or something.
Or maybe you were out all night again with Grandpa Rick.
What?
In one of these instances, Rick almost blew up the world with a neutrino bomb. And since the multiverse is an established thing, that means he succeeded in another reality. Whoa. I do try to be fair as a reviewer, so I will have to give credit where credit is due. Jerry even does the impossible of getting Beth of all people to wonder, maybe Rick isn't the type of dude you keep around your children. It almost works. Later, in the garage, Jerry even tries to tell Morty the sad reason why he needs to go to school.
Well, the doy, son. Look, I love you, Morty, but we both know you're not as fast as the other kids, and if you want to compete in this world, you gotta work twice as hard.
Even if I've always wondered about this. True, Morty is naturally stupid, but is he that way because of problems at home that don't involve Rick? Or is he one of those people who just doesn't do well on tests? We see that when Morty actually puts his mind to something, he can be pretty intelligent. However, thanks to the Mega Seeds, Jerry thinks Morty is thriving by palling around with his grandpa.
He needs to keep hanging out and helping me.
Jerry, I don't want whatever's happening here to stop.
No, I understand. Maybe we overreacted.
Just as they were about to move him into a nursing home.
Nursing home? What are you nuts? I'd build robots for fun.
Well, now you can build baskets and watch Paul Newman movies on VHS and mentally scar the Boy Scouts every Christmas.
What does that mean?
It's personal.
Ah, so close. After this point, Jerry became known for being a pathetic piece of crap in every sense of the word. The world treats him like a talking toilet. Everybody pulls their pants down and squats when they see him. And because he's so pathetic, he tends to make things worse or cause conflicts. In Lawnmower Dog, after Snuffles pees in the house, Jerry, like a total jerkhole, pushes Snuffles' face into the pee.
You idiot dog!
Oh, he didn't mean it, Dad. Did you, Snuffles? You're a good boy.
Don't praise
You're a
him
good
now,
dog.
Morty. He just peed on the carpet. Bad dog. Bad.
I can't believe people used to do that to dogs. It's so mean.
Thought the whole point of having a dog was to feel superior, Jerry. If I were you, I wouldn't pull that thread.
Thank you. Jerry, instead of just, I don't know, sending Snuffles to obedience school or getting a wee-wee pad, tells Rick to make a device to turn Snuffles smart, so he'll know better next time. And so he does.
Shake. Roll over. Go to the bathroom.
At first, admittedly, it's kind of cute.
Oh, he's saying I love lasagna.
Eventually, Snuffles becomes so smart, he realizes that domestication is just a fancy word for slavery, and becomes a crusader against humanity, rallying the other dogs into turning against their masters.
Hey. Oh, wow. Okay, is everything okay in here?
Jerry, come to rub my face in urine again.
No.
Way to go, Jerry. We were this close to getting taken over by dogs. Are you so cheap you couldn't just, I don't know, go to PetSmart and buy a doggy door? Or why not just hire somebody to do it? Or I don't know. Rick lives with you now. Get him to do it. Another small moment, but I loved how Snuffles, now Snowball,
I'm not calling him that. That's ridiculous.
got his revenge on Jerry.
Bad person. Bad.
Yes, he is. Say it again. Say it again for the people in the back.
Bad person. Bad.
Good for you. But it's not enough. Jerry needed a bit of surgery and a cone.
You think you can control me with a haircut?
The only reason disaster was averted was because Morty treated Snowball with kindness, and not patronization like Summer, or indifference like Beth.
You were always kind to me, Morty. That's why I will leave you with your tasks from now on.
Wait, so was he gonna spade Summer and Beth? Anyhow, Rick was able to incept Snowball into leaving our reality by making him think that if he kept up his campaign, Morty would die of kidney failure.
Whole world populated by intelligent dogs. I wonder what it'll be like, Rick. I think it'll be great, Morty. It could be developed into a very satisfying project for people of all ages. I mean, I'd watch it, Morty.
Yeah, I know it's supposed to reference a cartoon Justin Roiland never got off the ground, but I'm surprised we never got a sequel episode. I think Snowball got a cameo or two. Like, I know he's definitely in Morty's Mind Blowers, but that's about it. And all of this because Jerry has to feel superior to a freaking dog. Jerry, if you want to be superior to something, buy a succulent. It can't move or talk and relies on you solely as a provider. It's basically childcare, but you get to ignore the seed for as long as you want. In Meeseeks and Destroy, Jerry doesn't know how to open a mayonnaise jar.
Hey, Rick, you got some kind of hand-shaped device that can open this mayonnaise jar?
Wow, hat trick.
It's like soda bottle rules. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Or you open it like you're gonna open one of those prescription caps. That's what I do. And of course he likes mayo. He knows that I can't stand mayo. He knows it makes me gag. He knows I hate always having to go to Burger King and telling them no mayo. This leads into the B-plot, and probably the one thing next to Evil Morty that got me hooked on the show. Rick introduces the family to the concept of Mr. Meeseeks, a magical slave that solves all your problems.
I'm Mr. Meeseeks! Mr. Meeseeks, open Jerry's stupid mayonnaise jar. Yes, sirree! The Meeseeks fulfills the request. All done!
Wow!
And then it stops existing.
The family, wanting to take advantage of the sci-fi rigmarole, gives the Meeseeks requests.
I'm Mr. Meeseeks!
I want to be popular at school.
Ooh, okay! Ooh, I'm Mr. Meeseeks! Look at me!
I want to be a more complete woman.
Beth? Oh, yeah! Yes, ma'am!
However, instead of something simple like, I want to learn how to be a decent human being, Jerry gives Mr. Meeseeks the most complicated task known to man.
Hey there, I'm Mr. Meeseeks!
Mr. Meeseeks, I would like to take 2 strokes off my golf game.
Stroke. You knew that was coming. I did it again. As expected, Jerry doesn't know how to play golf, so the task is a Herculean effort.
Most importantly, You gotta relax.
You know what, Mr. Meeseeks? I don't think this is working. I give up.
I'm sorry, Jerry, but it doesn't work like that.
Jerry, maybe you should start off with something simple like Monster Mini Golf or VR Golf or even Wii Sports. Just whatever you do, be sure you click on Beginner. To help speed things up, Mr. Meeseeks makes additional copies of himself.
Hey, can you help me get 2 strokes off of Jerry's golf swing? Can do. I'm Mr. Meeseeks. Is he keeping his shoulders squared? Ooh, he's trying.
And despite having more than ample help, Jerry can't seem to complete the task.
Okay, Jerry, you gotta just choke up on the club.
Well, which is it? Choke up or follow through?
This is as frustrating for us as it is for you.
Don't tell me that. That just puts pressure on me.
2 days later, which to a Meeseeks is like a million years, Jerry decides to give up and go out to dinner with Beth.
I'll take you to dinner.
Come on.
Hey, you know what? It's hard being me, too.
Yeah, I'm with Mr. Meeseeks on this. Jerry, they aren't getting paid for this, and you were the one who summoned them. No wonder the Meeseeks decide to band together and kill Jerry, thinking that his death will lead to mercy.
But we will get all strokes off his game. Where's he going? When we kill him. Mr. Meeseeks.
Okay, Mr. Meeseeks, I have been on your side up to this point, but I don't think this is the right course of action. True, you will be rid of Jerry, but it might result in you either existing for eternity or until Rick returns, whatever comes first. They make it to the restaurant and decide to force Jerry out by taking hostages.
We are created to serve a singular purpose for which we will go to any lengths to fulfill.
Sounds like a bureaucrat.
Innocent people are going to die because of me. Why am I so mediocre?
Because you couldn't have given them a simple task? Seriously, when did you ever play golf or have any want to play golf? Did you take it up after you became unemployed? Why couldn't you just tell Mr. Meeseeks, I want you to get me a job? I'm sure he knows his way around indeed. I think that's why Summer and Beth succeeded. They gave them something simple to do. Sure, they did seem like ginormous requests, but I think what both wanted was validation, and they got it. From blue skin dude to sound like lemon grab if he snorted 10 gallons of Coca-Cola. You should have stopped at the mayo jar is my thesis statement. Now, every good father should be able to provide for his family, either by helping out around the house or having a job. Jerry fails at both of these. One episode has him trapped in what's obviously a simulation, and Bumbleduck here can't grasp the obvious.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you. You're welcome.
And the whole time he has this big, stupid, goofy grin. He even goes to what he thinks is home and runs into a fake Beth.
Yeah, don't move.
And he fails to realize that this Beth has all the cognitive function of a blow-up doll. Jerry, did you not feel Beth's candle tunnel when you were ramming her? It was basically plastic and rubber, not apples. In the simulation, Jerry thinks he has to go to work, because he actually does have a job in the real world at this point. He presents a new slogan.
I give you your new slogan. Hungry for apples is just a ripoff of Got Milk. It's almost identical.
I mean, I think you're ripping off Good Will Hunting, not Got Milk. Oh, and throughout the episode, Rick, who is also trapped in the same simulation, is being accosted by Sigerian scammers for the formula to concentrated dark matter. When they think they finally got it, Jerry gives this big grand speech.
Those guys took you for a ride, too. You should try having a little respect for the dummies of the universe, now that you're one of us. Wow! What the hell? What happened back there?
Why don't you ask the smartest people in the universe, Jerry?
Jerry, clearly you were sleeping in chemistry class as cesium blows up when exposed to water. Apparently it does, look it up. And you seemed pretty chill when you found out those aliens stalked Rick with enough intensity that they were able to perfectly replicate Morty's, aka your underage son's, private parts. In the real world, he presents the slogan, and
You're fired.
But this idea was tested in a state-of-the-art simulation.
Well, then it was a terrible simulation.
whoa, okay then. But the thing is, Jerry never gets a job for the rest of the show. Well, Rick is arguably the reason he lost his job, as Jerry was only in the simulation because of him. Rick isn't the reason Jerry is still unemployed. This time, it is not Rick's fault. He doesn't smash Jerry's tires so he can't drive to the interview, or cut up his Metro card so he can't take a bus or a train, or even unplug their internet in some kind of homage to Amelie, so Jerry can't call up a taxi or an Uber. This is a is all on Jerry. And speaking of Rick, he used to be Biffles with the president. I'm sure if he ever asked, he could get his son-in-law a job. Jerry, instead, makes Beth pay for everything, and presumably also Rick. Or in one of his worst moments, Summer. Oh my god, this episode freaking hurts. In the Purge episode, he starts trying to be friends with Summer, wanting to spend time with her. But Summer knows BS when she sees it, so she ignores Jerry as much as she can.
Are you ready to be nice to me?
In exchange for crackers?
What happened to you?
Dad, get a job! You're trying to create drama because you're bored.
Eventually, she does give in to Jerry's compliments, as Jerry claims he's taking a special interest in her because she's growing up and he misses his little girl.
Remember when we used to go to the playground and I'd push you on the swings?
Oh, you could push me higher than all the other kids.
You were so small and cute. I thought you were gonna fly right off into the street.
And Summer herself has so much to be proud about.
I know, and now look at you. You have a job, you're making really good money, you're not paying any rent, so you have plenty of disposable income.
Oh God, Dad.
That's why he's doing it.
I just need a few $100s to get through the month. I have some interviews coming up. Something's gonna come through. I can feel it.
I'm going inside.
He doesn't give a crap about his daughter. It's so despicable. Jerry, it's not Summer's fault you're unemployed. She's 17. And by now she's learned that she isn't responsible for the family's dysfunction. And even then, you don't make your 17-year-old child support the family with their money. You can't just ask Beth, or did she tell you no, so now you're going to Summer? And who are you gonna ask next? Morty? Are you gonna pull the same routine and puppy dog eyes with him too? Or what about Rick? I'm sure Rick knows how to make counterfeit money so good that nobody will suspect a thing. Okay, I'm surprised that isn't an episode yet either. I mean, we had Whirly Durly, but imagine this. Rick, I need $200 or they'll shut off the cable and Beth won't give me any money. Can I please borrow something? Sure, Jer. But it's gonna cost you. Cost me what? A Rick and Jerry episode. Oh, but it gets better. It turns out Jerry didn't want the money so he could pay bills or eat, which again is still kind of bad, but would have been enough of a reason. It's so he could buy up a fake friend. Like one of those 1-900 numbers.
Teddy Mason, it's only $1.99 a minute to talk. Sign up today, and I'll even call you on a regular basis for just $1.99 a minute.
Teddy Mason, we don't deserve you.
Jerry, get a job.
That's right. But hey, maybe I have been a little harsh. I mean, there are times I like Jerry. That subplot with Doofus Rick was really heartwarming, mostly because Jerry gets to hang out with a dude who eats poop.
Wow, you really are wise, Jerry. I guess that's why you work in advertising.
Loser. Actually, to be fair, I do love the subplot, but for the sake of the video, haha, Jerry has no friends. Just a stupid antique Star Wars coin collection. That does look kinda cool, being honest. I bet he bought it at 5 a.m. from a paid programming block. And why would you be so stupid to think Rick would fly into a black hole with your son? And Jerry, true that, yeah, you saved the day in Star Mort, but... Gross, she's the same age as your daughter. No wonder you lost your invisible garbage truck. That's karma, buddy boy. But seriously, besides just eating an easy target, and honestly I'm making my anger a little bit bigger for the sake of humor, I wonder why I hate Jerry so intensely. Well, believe it or not, one downside to being a critic is you never watch the shows or movies you love the same way ever again. Either it's harder to agree with what they're saying, or you look at things more intently, even if that probably wasn't the point. I especially have this problem with Bob's Burgers. If the show had more of a footprint on YouTube, I wouldn't mind discussing the Tiki episode or the Sweet Potato Fry episode. Bob's Burgers has pretty much become a cautionary tale for me about how to not run a business. Before I got into YouTube, I did not totally mind Jerry. True, he wasn't my favorite character, but I did not outright hate him. I was more indifferent towards him. The only episode he was in I didn't like that much was the second Cable episode. Now that I look at things more critically, and I have pretty much made a living moaning about terrible cartoon parents, I cannot see Jerry as anything other than a person who won't improve despite having the tools for it, and making things worse for everybody. He's like Gumball's dad if he were actually unlikable. What was that thing that Paul said?
pathetic.
Perfect. I think another reason I hate Jerry is for the opposite reason I love Sasha Waybright, where we likely have a Jerry in our own lives or have interacted with a Jerry before. Or possibly, we are Jerry. How's that for a twist? And in real life, Jerrys, 9 times out of 10, aren't fun. At least with Beth, yeah, she's evil, and true, we probably all know one, but for her at least, it can swing between realistically evil and cartoonishly evil. So while I don't like Beth either, I do find her much more entertaining. Even as a grandfather, Jerry is an a-hole. After Morty Jr. was born, Jerry and Bev couldn't agree on how Morty was going to raise him. Would he use love or continue the cycle of neglect and detachment?
There's your hands, there's your hands, and that's how we play handy hands.
Morty chose love.
Oh, you are going to ruin that kid, Morty.
At least we can agree on that.
Are you sure? True, Morty failed because he told Morty Jr. the outside world was poisonous, but what did you two do? In my experience, it takes a village to raise a child. I can get not helping Morty, even if that's a jerk move, but you don't help your own grandson? You just sit back and watch it happen?
Nice.
Nice.
Even when Morty Jr. ran and cried, neither of you went to go hug him or at least say, "Don't worry, it'll be alright." Later, Morty Jr. gets loose and Morty goes to Jerry, which I guess makes sense. Until Morty Jr. burned him, Jerry was actually playing with him and attentive. It was Beth who treated him like an object.
I suppose, Morty, I suppose. But first, a deep sip from a very tall glass of I told you so.
Oh my god, please, Dad, come on!
Jerry, this is not the time! The entire neighborhood might be in danger. Get off your high horse and go, now.
Where's your hands? My car!
Good job, Morty Jr. Sticking it to your grandpapa. Sucks you're probably dead though, since you aged to adulthood within a day. Actually, maybe it's better Jerry doesn't try to be a caregiver. When Morty had to compete in the science fair, Rick was more than content to just give him a gadget and get on with life. It was Jerry's insecurity that made things much worse. Jerry suggests that he and Morty make a model of the solar system.
We do a model of the solar system. That's what my dad did with me when I was your age.
Did you make it while your dad hid in the closet dressed as Superman? In BTW, Jerry, most science fairs don't allow that anymore because like volcanoes, kids do them to get out of actually doing work. I mean, I'm like 22, but like 10 years ago, we still weren't able to do that, so hey. Imagine Morty brought that thing to school and got an F because of you. Jerry, in all of his infinite wisdom, says they should make Pluto.
How about we use a ping pong ball for Pluto, and then Jupiter
Actually, I don't think Pluto's a planet.
Of course Pluto's a planet, son.
Stupid. Not realizing that the IAU decided Pluto isn't a planet anymore. It's a dwarf planet.
Just Googled it. Pluto's not a planet. They changed it in 2006.
If you're wondering, apparently it's because it didn't clear its intergalactic neighborhood since it's located in the Kuiper Belt.
And I disagree.
You disagree?
That's right. It's possible to disagree in science, Morty.
Yeah, you can if you have actual evidence, but are you really a scientist, Jerry? Do you even know of the criteria that constitutes a planet? You're not Neil deGrasse Tyson, so stop it. This episode might be about Pluto, but Jerry's ego is as big as Jupiter. He makes Peggy Hill look humble in comparison.
What are you guys talking about?
Apparently nothing.
You asked him if Pluto's a planet, didn't you?
No!
It's not. Shut up, Rick.
I think Rick is the authority on this chair. They say Pluto isn't as loose and easy as Ceres. Pluto doesn't want to be deflowered until marriage. Jerry even goes as far as to call up NASA so he can make a declaration that Pluto is a planet. That's not who you call, you idiot. The IAU decided it, not NASA. You're talking to the wrong customer service rep. It's like if you have a problem with Verizon, so instead of calling them, you call up AT&T and complain.
Why don't we just make the solar system with 8 planets? It's even easier.
Sure. And why don't we just burn Galileo at the stake for saying the sun is round?
Stop trying to prove yourself to your teenage son. All you're doing is making yourself look more pathetic and pushing him into Rick's arms. Because of Jerry's stubbornness, he and Morty are abducted and taken to Pluto, which turns out to have a thriving society.
I'm King Flippy Nips.
Ruler of Pluto, we discovered you quite by accident. You really gave it to those guys at NASA.
I'm surprised New Horizons didn't pick up on this. Jerry becomes a celebrity on Pluto, even receiving the Pluto Bell Prize for science, while Morty discovers the sick truth. Pluto used to be a planet, but corporations stole plutonium from the core of Pluto, shrinking it more and more.
They can keep mining until Pluto goes from planet to asteroid to meteor, and finally,
Too bad Jerry has become so engrossed with stardom that he completely forgot about common sense. Or, doing Morty's project, the reason they're there in the first place. Really.
Just one more rally, then I promise we'll get back to your science project.
Honestly, why not document this and bring it back to school? Jerry, you could be a celebrity on 2 worlds. I said worlds, not planets, since you would be discovering alien life. Jerry is such an umbass that he even embarrassed Morty in front of an entire crowd of people.
Dad, what did you think about the recent deep core plutonium drilling?
Well, son, what did you think when you were 5 and you pooped your pants and you threw your poopy undies out your bedroom window? I mean, I'm trimming the hedges and these things are just hanging there. Was I supposed to think the poop bunny left them?
Screw you. Morty decides to leave Jerry to his fate, letting Rick make the project for him. Isn't that how most science projects work? I mean, you do them, but your parents are the one who actually, decorates them and buys all the supplies. Jerry, after realizing the truth, overflows with guilt, and he tells everybody Pluto isn't a planet.
Pluto is not a planet. I love my son!
Yes, sir, bro.
Morty, I'm not as smart as your grandpa Rick, but I promise never to make that your problem again.
Liar. Now by this point, it's obvious that Jerry is pathetic, and it's a known fact throughout the universe. One Rick caught on and cashed in on it, creating Jerry Baree, a daycare center for Jerrys, where he can't get hurt. Also, Daycare Rick, since I don't think he has a name, so I'm calling him Daycare Rick, gave the option to leave Jerry there forever, so good on you. The Jerry Daycare has everything Jerry could possibly want. He gets to hang out with Beth, watch director's commentary, and adjust the picture settings.
Marco? Polo! Marco? Come find me. Marco?
Dude, don't go hang out in that ball pit. It's full of urine and fecal matter. I wouldn't be surprised if you don't wash your hands. I wonder if they reenact that scene from Big Bang Theory in the ball pit. Jerry finds the daycare patronizing. He decides to escape.
I'm leaving!
Okay then, that was always allowed.
Unfortunately, the only thing keeping him there is his lack of familiarity with sci-fi madness. That's actually a sick joke. Knowing Rick, he probably put the daycare center there specifically to screw with Jerry. Yeah, you can leave whenever you want, that's always allowed, but freaking try it, Jer. So Jerry spends the day with Paul Fleshman, Beth's new husband in another reality.
Infinite timelines, and some of them Beth remarries. Don't worry, I treat Beth very well, and I do not overstep my bounds with Morty. Every kid needs a dad, but there's no replacing you.
Oh, Mandela effect in progress. I swear I thought that dude was named Tommy Durand. Oh, wait, he was the inspector from Bob's Burgers. I got that confused. Paul, where were you when season 3 came along? I'm sure Rick would prefer you to Jerry. You'd be the perfect son-in-law. You wouldn't even notice Rick pulling the strings. Fun fact, according to one of the newer episodes, Solar Ricks, Jerry gets switched out here.
How did I end up not in my own universe? Oh my god, the Jerry Baree.
Oh, the Jerry Baree. Deep cuts.
From this point forward, we're stuck with Jerry 3.0. I don't think he got a name. They called the other one Season 2 Jerry, or Jerry C131 though. But hey, they're basically the same.
Hey, wait, do you have 5126? That's a Blips and Chits ticket. What? Way to go, Morty. Whatever.
Wait, what?
All right, come on, Jerry.
I kind of wonder if this was always the plan, or if they heard about the fan theory and decided to roll with it. Season 2 Jerry, instead, goes to another universe where the family didn't improve because they never got divorced, and they openly discuss their issues like an episode of This Is Us.
Maybe I wouldn't be so uptight if I wasn't married to an unemployed receptacle of human fear. Get a job, Dad. It's been a decade.
That makes too much sense. Now because they didn't divorce, but because of all that happened. Since that theory is true, it means the A-plot for Morty Night Run happened, just not with our Rick and Morty. They spent the day at Blitz and Chits.
Hey bro, how many people was your Morty responsible for killing today? None. We chilled at Blitz and Chits all day. Ain't that right, homie?
Darn right, bro. Roy rules.
In Morty Night Run, Morty went through a traumatizing day of trauma. Meanwhile, that means the other universe was the one where the Parasite episode happened, where the family had to kill dozens upon dozens of people they thought were close family and friends. And true, they weren't, but it did feel like it was. And also, as far as Jerry knew, he had to watch his lover die in his arms.
If we can get to my boat, there's a... No. Just send me to Gary. I want to be with Gary.
That's enough to traumatize anybody. Later in that same episode,
Is something wrong, Beth? Oh my God!
Wait, but
Oh, Beth!
and afterwards, he effectively cut the Smiths off. Altogether, they just went on with their lives and trauma bonded. However, I forgot something. Something important. Oh yeah, Jerry's killed his own son several times. It's not the worst thing he's ever done, believe it or not, but it's up there. In the Vat of Acid episode, Morty gets a girlfriend through the remote Rick gave him. When Morty is returned from nearly dying in a plane crash, the family celebrates, and Jerry finds the remote and resets Morty. Okay, to be fair, it's not his fault. I doubt he knew what the remote was for, but dude, you live with a sci-fi family. How do you not know by this point you don't just touch a remote that doesn't belong to you? Do you even know where it's been? And as we learned at the end of the episode, the remote did not actually reset things. It just meant that Morty took the place of another variant. So Jerry, in a nutshell, effectively killed his own son. It's a good thing Rick made that episode purely hypothetical. And in Mortyplicity, a version of Jerry destroyed several versions of his family. After the fiasco with Space Beth, Rick made a family of decoys. But those decoys didn't know they were decoys, so they made decoys, and decoys, etc, etc, etc. Until there's an army operating under Highlander prisoner dilemma rules. One group of decoys, the Wooden Smiths, decide that instead of killing each other, the decoys should learn to live together. And even before Wooden Beth gives her little sermon, Wooden Jerry becomes obsessed with this stupid can of varnish.
Hey, who needs all this war stuff? I found a can of varnish. This is a ticket to the world beyond the river.
who wants that?
Did you not watch that Y2K King of the Hill episode? You need proper ventilation or the fumes will kill you. So you are willing to kill everybody just for that can.
I crave glorious death in decoy battle.
Also, you know, depending on the varnish, might look like blackface.
Didn't you also date an alien and make a bunch of self-righteous racist comments both in front of her and to your own children? I already discussed that episode in my summer video, but to bring you up to speed, instead of just buying a sock and spanking his monkey, Jerry rebounded with an alien named Kiara, who can kill him with a flick of the wrist. Beyond killing Barracks, however, she does seem to be pretty nice. Instead of simply doing the gentlemanly thing of breaking up with her, he says that the kids are bigots, and that's why they can't be together.
After all the time and energy I spent teaching you two about race, you ended up racist.
What? Even when Kiara is telekinetically strangling Summer, he still won't do it.
Okay, Kiara, let's just run away.
Just rip the Band-Aid off!
Okay.
Anyways, back to our regularly scheduled programming. A group of killer decoys find the hideaway, and everybody tries to escape, but they all end up dying because of Wooden Jerry.
I'm sorry, I didn't ask for this. I just want to live, but there's only so much varnish. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Nobody cares about your goddamn varnish, you sniveling coward. Oh, don't worry, he gets karma. As he's made of wood, he technically can't die. So now you get what you want forever. He lives for thousands of years, alone, even being used as a crucifixion after humanity is replaced and Christianity starts all over again. Are you happy now, Wooden Jerry? You get all the varnish you want. But you really want to know the worst thing Jerry has done? Like the worst thing? Like the most terrible, like moral event Horizon never coming back from? He destroyed the world. And I said world. He caused the extinction of all life on Earth. He did what Rick did on a global scale with no hope of ever fixing it. At least with the Cronenberg dimension, Rick could have fixed it, but he was just too lazy, which honestly is kind of worse to some degree, but that's not the point. After season 2, Jerry comes back. He goes into Rick's room. There's this thing called knocking. Don't you remember that speech Morty gave you?
Knock next time, you know? I mean, I'm sitting in here, I'm 14.
Say no more.
I mean, one of these days, you know, you're gonna end up seeing something.
I got it. Noted. Good night.
You live with 2 teenagers and an old man, and he finds Rick's pet, Mr. Frundles.
Look who I found in Rick's room.
I'm Mr. Frundles.
Season 2, Jerry, despite Rick's warnings, opens up the cage like an idiot, and Mr. Frundles goes to work infecting everything. All it takes is one bite, and you're turned.
Can't we just go back and fix it?
So Jerry is the reason they had to dimension hop. Jerry, I hope you're happy now that you ruined everything. Hope you're happy now that you're a part of Mr. Frundles, and your mind is likely trapped inside of your body, replaced with the entity that is Mr. Frundles. Happy eternity, buddy boy. And that was Jerry Smith. True, Jerry is pretty pitiful, but that doesn't make him better than Beth. He's still a terrible father, husband, and all-around person. Jerry, in this new dimension, when you have a Parmesan dinner, I hope you choke on it. Or that Mr. Always Wants to Be Hunted gets you. And wouldn't Jerry, since you're still alive, I hope you enjoy living on the body of Mr. Frundles. In conclusion, y'all suck. Bye-bye.